Hey, what is up guys? My name is BobLyn, aka PabLoon, and today I want to talk about the Harugumo and the buffs that it received in the 6.3 patch notes. So because I was away and, not home to see all these balance changes, I completely forgot about Harugumo getting a massive buff and have now actually tried it, and I just have to say I had to make a video on this. Most of you guys probably know Harugumo is my favorite DD in this game. I've played it pretty much my whole Blitz career, and seeing these buffs is just really nice. Harugumo before this was a pretty hard DD to play. It had a lot of shortcomings, but I feel like this buff has definitely helped it. Now Harugumo is still a hard DD to play, and you do need to have a lot of experience and experience on the ship in general and in the game to master this, but I definitely think this is the right direction. And to be honest, if you ask me in my personal opinion, it feels perfect the way it is now. It's just the way it should be, and I'm very excited, as you can tell. So let's take a look at the buffs while we let this gameplay roll. So the Harugumo has gotten, as you can see, defensive fire, but along with that it also got a HP increase, which is, I mean, it's can I do quick maths here? It's a 1500 increase, pretty good. Torpedo reload down by 10 seconds, dispersion down by 7%, which is pretty much a dispersion mod, quite good. And then you get air defense expert 1, which is what Harugumo used to have before they replaced it with a smoke. So now Harugumo is one of the few ships in the tech tree that actually has 4 skills. The Akisuki and the Kitakaze, the tier 8 and the tier 9, also got buffs. Kitakaze got the same buffs, except it did not get a health increase, and the Akisuki got a torpedo reload decrease. So overall this line just got much better in at least the tier 8, 9 and 10, which is where the line it really comes into fruition in this game, or it really becomes this gunboat line. Now, like I said, I don't, want people to think that this is now an OP or an easy ship to play, but it definitely just has a place in the meta now, in my opinion. This game you're watching, we are completely wreaking havoc on these DDs, and you can see the dispersion buff coming into play here. Before this, it was kind of difficult to deal with DDs at long range, but you can see now that these guns are just, they're pretty much hitting their mark if I can, aim correctly. It wasn't really a problem before, in my opinion, with dispersion, because, well, you have 10 100mm guns that can shoot, well, what is it, every 3 seconds, which, yeah, it's pretty fast. And there's this joke around Harugumo that it's a death by 1,000 cuts, but that is very true. The Harugumo has a decent fire chance, I believe it's a 4% fire chance. Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't have the stats right here. But the ship itself is an insane HE spammer, and with the build I have, because I'm running Gonichi Mikawa, this is on my press account, but the build I have on my press account is the same on my main account, because, well, I had to have this thing maxed out. So you do get 3 smokes normally, and 3 engine boosts, but because we have Gonichi Mikawa and he has the Night Raid special skill, we are able to get some more consumables, along with another torpedo reload booster, which is the other main big factor, attractive factor for the ship, if you could say that. You have a 6-tube torpedo launcher with the dreadful Japanese 610mm torpedoes. So you can send out 12 torps in very quick succession, which you're seeing us do here with the torpedo reload. Before this buff, the Harugumo was much less a torpedo focused boat, and you were pretty much focusing mainly on your guns, but now I would say that this thing is also quite capable with torpedoes. I mean, it's a 10-second decrease to the reload, but it just means you can maybe pump out 1 more salvo during a game. We get a nice kill on the GK there with our torps, and that's our 2nd kill of the game. We completely annihilated that. I think it was a small end behind the rock, and that's one of the other cool things I like about this ship, is the shell arcs are very high. You can see they are, kind of sub-orbital shells, but they're not slow, which, if you think about other ships with very high shell arcs like the Worcester, Colbert, the shells tend to be, or at least the Worcester, they're very slow, so it can be difficult to hit with. But you can see the Harugumo shells are quite fast, so they get to the target pretty quickly. I think it's about time that this ship got some love, and I'm really happy to see this. It's one of the better buffs in the 6.3 patch notes, if you ask me. And we are also going to be, exploring the Genon. I'm going to be checking out probably the Harbin too, because the Genon, I mean, in my opinion, I'll save this for the video, but I do think the nerf is quite fair. The Harbin, though, I don't know. The Harbin and the Sejong, I don't feel like, at least the Harbin did not deserve that. But let's save that for that video, and instead we're going to watch these beautiful, very accurate shells on this Shimakaze. It's pretty easy to hit DDs now at range, as you can see. But we're kind of in a tough spot here. We got a Hindenburg on our flank. We are in a smoke. And then we have a Montana who is, well, not looking my way. So I was, to be honest, I was pretty sure I was done here, because I'm full broadside to a Hindenburg. And Harugumo is a massive ship for a destroyer. It's very long, and it doesn't turn very well. We are running the legendary mod, so we do have increased maneuverability. But I would say if you're going to play this ship, you should take the elite bonus that does give you more speed and acceleration. I'm actually not running that on this build, but I will say that even though you can buff the torpedoes, it's one of the other elite bonuses, you shouldn't do that. This is purely a gunboat, and you're going to need the maneuverability. The AA buff, or the DFAA edition, is definitely nice, and to be honest, it just feels good to have some kind of retaliation or defense against a CV strike. You're still gonna get destroyed by a CV, and then while I was trying to get gameplay for this, I had a great game where I was in a pretty cracked out situation, 1v3, and I was playing versus a midway CV. It's the bot midway, and we've all tried it. We've all been there. We're playing our DD, and the bot midway sends one dive bomber squadron that takes you from half health to 1k, or in this case it was 32k. It's 32 health, not 32k, 32 health, 2 digits, and a triple fire, where I was quite literally screaming, and Stormeel and Red can attest to this. I was pretty much fuming, but luckily after that game, took a break, and I had this one, which was nice to see, because yeah, I really wanted a nice gameplay for you guys, because this ship is near and dear to my heart. And obviously I'm very biased, but I've also seen a ton of these ships out there after the buff. I've noticed many more people playing the Harugumo, which is just awesome to see. It is one of those ships that I kind of like to compare it to a Minotaur. It's got a high skill ceiling, and it deserves it, or you need to be quite experienced to play it well, if you ask me. So yeah, I urge you guys to try this. It's free. It's a tech tree ship. You can grind it, being a free-to-play player. Obviously, the captain helps, the legendary captain I have, and the legendary mod, which we'll take a look at in just a sec. But yeah, let's move on to the build. So here we see the addition of the defensive fire. It did not used to have this. It's only a defensive fire one, and it won't do much. But I mean, it's a nice band-aid, if you ask me. Here's the legendary mod: flexible transmission system, max traverse speed 8%, traverse acceleration 8%, main battery traverse speed 8%, and torpedo tube traverse speed 8%. So it doesn't have any nerfs. And we're running reload and detection. And then we have this captain right here, who is just, I mean, if you have him and you play the Harugumo, or if you're planning on getting the Harugumo and you somehow have this captain, it's gonna make this ship even better, because you get Mist Weaver plus, Daredevil plus, and you get Night Raid, and of course the what's it called, the Giant Hunter plus. It has a lot of great skills for the Harugumo, and I mean, he just fits perfectly on this ship. So this is the end of the video, and if there are any Harugumo captains out there, please tell me what you think about these buffs, if you've played it before the Harugumo buffs, because I can say with certainty that this is a buff I'm very, very satisfied with, and well, it was definitely needed for the Harugumo. It was a difficult ship to play before, and it still is, but the health increase, the dispersion decrease, and all the other buffs just make it really nice. So I think this is in a very good spot right now, and I would love to hear what you guys think. My name has been BobLyn, aka PabLoon, and I am signing out.